GP meeting. We have Beat Alaska from Nemo, Brent Densford from Beach RC, and JQ from Invisible Speed JM, also helping out the Mayako main team. I think the first thing I'm going to ask, I'm going to start with Brent, because what is the most difficult part of being a team manager of a wildcard team, Brent?
Well, the most difficult part's trying to find the drivers that you want to represent you in each different market and at each different race. But really just trying to have a team presence, trying to be out there. And we're not a chassis manufacturer. We represent a lot of chassis manufacturers. So for us, it's really just finding the right people that are going to represent our brand properly and run the products that we sell and that kind of stuff.
Have you been happy with your team this year?
Yeah. I mean, we've had some pretty good results. Started off really strong in Piedmont. Did pretty good in Italy. Struggled in England, and I think that we'll start seeing the speed of the boys pick up here today.
So, Billy, you're here representing Nemo. Obviously, you've, in the European rounds, it was John and the team. How much have you talked with John about the other rounds and formulating who you're going to have with you this weekend?
Well, I mean, we talk pretty regularly, regardless of specifically about the RCGP rounds. And to be perfectly honest, we both just kind of do our thing, I guess. Brandon being the common denominator between here and there, and obviously he's doing pretty well. So just leave it to those guys to adapt and see how it goes.
So what is your role this weekend? What are you actually concentrating on doing?
I am Brandon's mechanic, tire gluer this weekend. Yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it. Pit guy, yeah.
So from quite a basic remit to a very complex remit, I understand, obviously, I think, JQ, because you're looking after, well, you're definitely looking after your own team. How much are you actually doing on the white-coloured Mayakos as well?
I'm not doing that much, maybe a few small checks on the car, but I'm definitely in tune with the changes they're making and tire choice and setup change and that kind of stuff.
So obviously, you've finally retired, possibly. I mean, how are you enjoying this team manager mechanicing role compared to actually driving?
I was a bit worried about that, to be honest, but I do enjoy it, especially now because we have David on the team, and that means that any race you go to, you have a shot at winning. So that gives a whole different level of motivation to prepare and then actually pay attention at the race and try and make the right decisions at the right time.
But so what are the key things you're doing this weekend? What is your key roles as such? Apart from obviously sending me texts the whole time about how the broadcast isn't right.
Apart from that, it's mainly I'm Pekko's mechanic, so he's running my car and Cody is actually running my second car. So both are my personal cars that they're using, and I'm pitting for Pekko, working on his car and helping the other guys as well as I can. So that's really what I'm doing, and obviously we're trying to find setup changes that make the cars easier to drive while still being fast, and then communicate that to all the drivers.
So Brent, you've of course also got in many ways a much bigger role than team manager here, because this is your track, this is your your environment. I mean, how much? I mean, obviously we've seen that the rain hasn't helped, but how much work has it been getting this track ready? Obviously with Hurricane Ian 2 weeks ago, and now all the rest of the water.
Well, the Hurricane Ian didn't hurt us too bad. It did drop one of our track lights, which took us a little bit of time to fix and get right. We had a major race, a dirt oval race at our shop last week, and while that was happening, we were actually out here building this track, which we're actually doing the same thing right now, building a track at Beach Hobbies for Masters next week. So it's been quite the challenge and overtaking and undertaking, whatever it's supposed to be. And the rain definitely didn't help us. We knew we were going to get a little rain on Wednesday night, Thursday morning early. That was forecasted. We didn't know, because the layout was so fresh, how it was going to drain and how bad it was going to hold the water. So that really put a big damper on moving forward on time and everything. media day kind of was a washout, no pun intended. And then we got hit for 20 minutes on Thursday night, and it just, all our progress, all our work, we had to redo it. So it's, I'm thankful. I've got the best crew, some of the best guys in RC to help me. I got great volunteers, great people in our area that race here and want to help and make it right. And so it's quite the challenge for sure. It's been a lot of work.
Yeah, the track obviously is absolutely fantastic. Just a pure question out of interest for myself. Obviously, there's a lot of water standing in the grounds around the track. Is that because you have a very high water table, or just because it's rained so much over the last couple of months? Well,
we've had a super rainy year here in this area, and I would say the ground's super saturated for sure. We got a ton of rain on Wednesday night. We weren't expecting it, so it was like 2 inches in 2 hours. So that amount of rain, it's going to sit, and then the other rain we got. It's not normally like this after a day, but I just think we're so saturated right now. That's the big thing.
But back onto RC topics for you. Obviously, the big news for Nemo is you've got a new car. The Agamo, of course, a new car coming out very soon. I mean, how much does that provide extra work for you as the representative of the US, or is it just I'll just take some orders and ship some kits?
I mean, personally, I'm trying to get my reflexes back up, so to speak, just so that when we do have a new car, I can go around and won't look like a fool. But yeah, it's really just shuffling a lot of orders and making sure that all the pre-orders, that everybody gets exactly what they want, and that we get that kit delivered in a timely way. And we're excited to get it here. I know a lot of people think that U.S. style tracks this or that, but I think it's going to be a pretty big surprise to most people on how well it does.
So how much racing do you actually get to do these days?
This is the first race that I've done in quite a while. I do have a track at home that I manage and I'm at every single day. So there are periods where I'll run practice every single day for a week or two, and then there are periods where I won't run at all for a week or two. But this is the first organized race I've actually been able to get to in quite a while.
And how are you feeling about your current form? Not quite there.
I mean, it's not. No, it isn't. It's honestly probably better than I expected myself to do. Yeah, slow but consistent. Typical old man, just cruising around, keeping the wheels down.
That sounds like my driving as well. If I can avoid enough crashes, someone will fall out in front of me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the 4-lap thing doesn't really lend itself to that. It's cool, but it doesn't lend itself to what I'm trying to do. So wherever I end up is where I end up.
So we're going to see you coming into your own this afternoon, tomorrow?
Potentially, yeah.
Let's just go for yes.
We'll see, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
So, Brent, do you do much wheeling anymore, or are you just an organizer?
I mean, I try to, and I try. It's easier for me to race at other races, not my own. So I would have loved to have done RC2 here and experienced it, but it's just not in the cards, especially with the weather and whatnot. But yeah, I try a couple times a month to race away from my shop, and I generally club race a couple times a month, at the shop. So I do it for fun now. I used to really want to do something with it, and I realized that work was much more important, and I just wasn't that good. I mean, I was a good intermediate driver.
Matter.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm too competitive. I'm too competitive with myself to go out there and suck. I don't like to suck. So.
Oh, well, you get used to it after a while, honestly. So, we've got a big weekend next weekend, haven't you, with the Masters of Dirt, which I suppose is that the biggest event of the year for you guys?
Yeah, that's this is our 8th year running. It's probably one of the most sought after titles that we have in the U.S. now.
Do you need a TV company at all?
I mean, if you guys were staying, we would have had you, but we've got some. This is the first year we got a lot of media. Chris Circus is sticking around. Keenan's sticking around. Danny Paz is doing the broadcast through Live RC for us. But yeah, it's a big race, and the title's really cool. And now it's one of the races that's bucket list for a lot of 10 scale guys. So it's turned into something quite big.
Great stuff. JQ, we were speaking to you, I suppose when we were speaking to you, I say last season because it was 2019, wasn't it? The last round of RCGP Race 1. You had your own car. David Ronafat was an HB driver. are you surprised to be sitting here in the situation you are now, runners up in the world's European champion with the car? I mean, is it beyond your expectations?
Well, I would say that the first year was better than expected, but at the same time I'm not surprised. So I knew that this is possible, but I expected it would take a bit longer than just first European Championships and win. So to be honest, for me it was a bit of a turning point, because basically if this hadn't happened, then I would have needed to figure out another way to live my life.
Well, hang on, so we were this close to getting rid of you?
Yes, you were very close, because it was getting a bit old spending all my time and effort, and money, basically feeling like it's for nothing, you know. So now with this progress, it's a lot more fun, more motivation, and onwards and upwards. It seems like the Mayako has really taken off well. The customers who buy the car are happy. The car is sort of stable and easy to drive, and David and other drivers have proved that it's also fast and a high level. So now the product is good, brand is good, we have good results, we have everything we need to be successful. So.
Well, yes, but you know, how are you going to? Surely next year it's about expanding the brand, isn't it? It's about expanding the driver base. You have one top driver who's a European.
Yeah.
Logically, are you checkbook in hand wandering around the paddocks of America?
Actually, we have already signed someone for next year. And
really?
In negotiations
have
with
I heard of him?
Another driver. Yes, you definitely have.
Is he in
so
that top 25 thing?
We will stick to signing world champions.
Oh, okay.
So
that does narrow it. Okay, so you're still a world champion who races in America?
I'm not going to tell you anything else than that. So we already signed another world champion, and we are negotiating with a third.
I can guess what one of them is.
Okay. You can guess.
So Brent, what does 2023 hold for Beach RC then?
Keep doing what we're doing. You know, just we had a huge growth year this year. We're going to keep promoting, keep doing the big races. You know, we're a big fan of RCGP, so you know we want to see that succeed. But really, for us, it's just really expanding our brand and our likeness, and trying to get more eyes, you know, on our website. And you know, as far as our events go, you know, we're almost at capacity at Masters, and our oval race is always pretty big. Fall brawl is generally pretty good. So yeah, I say just keep doing the same thing. So far the model's working pretty good. I think we've got a few changes in the mix, and I think we'll see some pretty good stuff happen with our proprietary brands moving forward.
Great stuff. And with the new car, is 2023 a pivotal year for Mayako?
Pivotal is a very good word for 2023. I think it's definitely going to attract a lot of attention to the brand from people who I think will see a lot more. I mean, the serious racer will be interested in that sort of thing, but then I think we'll attract a lot more people who like to just play with RC cars because it's something different. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Great, so thank you guys. And I'd say Percy. All right, well, go on. One more thing. Yes, you can. It's your...
So the three of us here, we are here because we believe in this project that's called RCGP. We aren't here for this one race. You know, there are many good races in the world that are packed with a lot of entries. That's not why we are here. We are here because this race series is doing something different to all the other races. Pretty much all the other races are trying to make money, right? They put on a race, they want to maximize their entries, make a lot of money, because that's the business model. That's fine, but that's not moving the industry forward. What we are trying to do here is RCGP is a media company. Look, this is a press conference here. We come here, we only need to race, and you do that job. You do the coverage, you organize press conferences, you take pictures, you take videos of our products, you produce marketing material for us. And that we can use that as brands, but also the whole industry can use that as a window for new people to look. Oh, this looks like fun. That's why RCGP has different racing formats, like the Rush, the RCGP with the top professionals in it. So we understand that. We aren't here today for this race. We are here for the future, because we believe we believe in the vision of what this can be. And the thing that I'm disappointed in is that not more people, even brands who are in this series, they don't see that. They are only thinking about today. They are not thinking about tomorrow and next year and 5 years later. And that's what I would like to encourage them to sit down and consider, the true value of something like this, because no one else is doing this. Because why? Because people don't believe in it, because people don't support it. It costs money. You're basically wasting money to put on a race, because RCGP is trying to improve the industry, the hobby. So I would encourage people to take a sit down, not just think about today, but think about the future. Because the only way that something like this will be successful is if enough people come together and work together. Like Brent doesn't like me too much, you know. We're sitting here next to each other, right? And we can share this vision of RCGP. We don't have to be best friends to see the value in something like this. So that's my message to the other team managers who have teams or don't have teams, that if you think there's another series or other organizer willing to put in money and do something like this for the industry, I mean, I'd like to hear about them. So, yeah.
I agree. I mean, this is a unique opportunity. I think RCGP is good for everybody. I think there's always there's always room to improve, though, right? I mean, you don't. Whatever happened this year, you know, I think it was real tough. We came off a real big high in 19, and then had COVID, and you know, COVID killed us for a couple years, knocked us down, and it really, you know, it's going to take another big jolt and a really good year. I think, you know, this was kind of like almost a reset type of year, and you know, I think the industry, you know, can, and I don't want to say should, but I know they can, and I hope they will, in a bigger form, get behind it. So
you just have to approach this in a different way. I think the end result of all of the gathering of the media, and when that's put together, is really what differentiates this from what we normally do. If you went to watch a television show be recorded, you would probably have a terrible time and couldn't follow the story, and you'd be there for 15 hours and you would moan and grumble about it the entire time. But when you sit at home and you see the final result, then that's when the payoff is. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people lose sight of when they're here experiencing that. And the schedule might seem weird to them at some point, but it's what's being produced because of that difference between the races that everybody normally attends is what sets this apart.
Also, another thing is that like RCGP series isn't here to replace something. It's actually here to help every other race in the world, because a rising tide raises all the boats, not just one, right? That's how it works. So if the industry grows, if the industry is healthier, there will be a lot more tracks and races, and the current big races will do better also. So it's not really a sort of zero-sum game where someone wins, someone loses. This is going to be a win-win.
Great, thanks everybody. Thank you, JQ. Thank you, Ben. Brent T, thank you to you and your team for all the hard work the last couple of days to put this event on. Thanks, guys, and good luck for the rest of the weekend. Cheers.
Thank you.